Joburg Water has announced a water outage which will affect areas such as Roodepoort, Randburg, Soweto, Southdale, Ennerdale and Joburg Central. The utility says the Rand water outage will start on Tuesday, that's the 11th of July, until the following Friday, a day later than previously planned. Now, according to Joburg Water, officials will be carrying out maintenance of the affected infrastructure. Residents in affected areas have been warned that recovery can take between 5 and 14 days after the supply has been fully restored. eNCA's Heidi Giokos is standing by for us in Randburg, testing the waters, as it were. Sorry, Heidi, I couldn't think of a better phrase at this time. I know on the suburban WhatsApp groups, this is all everybody has been talking about the last few days. We had the reprieve last month. It was supposed to take place, and then they decided, okay, we've had too many water issues before this. Let's just give people a break. But the point is, this water outage has to happen for important and much needed work to take place. What are you hearing from where you're standing?
Yes, exactly. I think there is much panic in terms of not necessarily the fact that Rand Water needs to conduct its maintenance and repair of infrastructure, but whether or not the water is going to be returned as planned. We do know that there's a massive water outage that is planned for the next couple of days, but Rand Water has also made it clear that it might take up to 14 days for water pressure to return back to normal. We do understand that some people are panicking slightly given the many water challenges that we have been facing in the city of Johannesburg. But we are joined by DA Ward Councillor Devin Steenkamp. Thank you so much for your time, Devin. We do appreciate it. What are you hearing from residents? Is there a sense of panic given this massive maintenance and infrastructure outage that we will be seeing come Tuesday?
There is lots of concerns regarding what's going to be happening and if they are going to be affected, because a lot of them are trying to look on these lists to see is their area affected. And from my understanding is that the greater Roodepoort and Randburg area and most of Johannesburg is going to be affected. I'm not looking forward to next week, but I understand why planned maintenance needs to happen. But one of my major concerns is the Joburg Water tankers is trying to coordinate and trying to find when they're going to be arriving on site and when they're not going to be there. So the communication is always the biggest factor when it comes to these type of outages.
What are residents telling you, though? Also not excluding the fact that there are hospitals in the area. Luckily, I think schools are still on holiday, but, you know, water is a source of life. And as much as this maintenance program needs to happen, it's about the alternative, and the water tankers often aren't necessarily a reliable alternative.
Yeah, that is true. And the residents want to know, like, simply flushing a toilet, it takes a lot of water, so you need to have quite a few buckets and stuff to storage as a reserve to try and at least keep your environment clean. And that's the thing. And to also now try and find a water tanker, try to get there on time, because they're also there at a certain time period, because they're also roaming to different areas. So to try and get that communication out, so people need to try and now monitor their WhatsApp groups, various other community social media to try and find information to find out where the water tankers are.
Sorry, someone's clearly trying to get a hold of you, but we're almost done. Do you foresee this being, I don't want to use the word catastrophe, but do you foresee this being a mess?
So they say the maintenance is going to be from 11th to the 14th, and I foresee the system still going to be unstable even after that. So there's still going to be intermittent water supply even after the 14th, where water is going to come and go until the system stabilizes. That's from past experiences.
So what are you urging residents to do, given the fact that you don't have an alternative? You have to rely on the tankers because there is going to be no water.
Yeah, like I say, try and store water now, and then try and connect into any type of community where you can get, or try and get your ward councillors' details so that you can at least get information, and ward councillors will try and assist where they can going forward.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you can return that call. Somebody was very eagerly trying to get a hold of you. Marcel, that was Devin Steenkamp, who is a DA Ward Councillor. And of course, I think the concern here is, which he also mentioned, the fact that you have a possible situation where the water is expected to return come after a few days after the planned maintenance, but the concern is that you're not going to have the same water pressure. And my colleague Teddy is just actually showing you, it seems as though, I'm not sure if it's a pipe that has burst or where this water is actually coming from. But you might not be seeing that come Tuesday because the water is going to be switched off for planned maintenance. And as much as it's much needed, because we do understand there are major infrastructure and maintenance challenges, I think residents in the city of Johannesburg and those that will be affected are quite frustrated at the fact that they have constantly had to deal with either power outages or water outages. So you don't win. If you don't have high stages of load shedding, you're not going to have water. So it just remains a huge challenge.
Yeah, it has become a bit of an irritation. You either have water or you have power. It does just seem in Joburg at the moment you don't get both at the same time, even though you continue to pay for it. Thank you so much, Heidi Giokos, on the water beat today out in Randburg.